Hold on to your seats. The fun and excitement of duckpin bowling is rolling your way. It's time for Duckpin Magic.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Duckpin Magic. I'm Mike Sello, with me, Joe Ryanair, and we're down to the final 4 bowlers. It started with 140 in the men's DPBA Masters tournament stop. We're down to 4, over $10,000 in prize money at stake today.
I'm ready to go, Mike, and we have a bowler that we'll talk about as the games are going on. But Doug Shipley, in 15 games this weekend, or over the weekend, averaged 176. And I just can't even think that high. But we'll tell you some of the games and watch the excitement in just a minute.
All right, Scott Wolgamuth is back. He won 3 in a row last week. Again this week, he'll be trying to move up the ladder against Wes Hamner. We'll get that match underway for you coming up right after this on Duckpin Magic.
We now join this game already in progress.
Fair Lanes Middlesex. We've had just an outstanding weekend of bowling.
He looked at that like he knew it was going to happen. Went around it a little bit. Action just stayed forward. 5, 6, 10. And an even game, 81-81 in the 6th frame. Whoa, what a shot.
Wes Hamner
Tilted it.
making a nice shot there in the 7th frame, and that puts the pressure now on Scott Wolgamuth.
When you decide to slide them, that's a pretty fine target when they're sitting in the same row. Squeezes your opponent's target up a little bit too when you do. It's like sinking that 30-foot putt. You know, that 3-footer all of a sudden gets a little tough.
I'll take your word for it. I don't think I ever sank a 30-foot putt.
You were the guy that said the 3-foot putt shrunk. I would.
Scott's having a rough time here in the last 3 frames.
First time he's been open 3 frames. In 37 frames he's bowled. 8, 89, 91 plus for Wes Hamner. Scott goes to lane 5 to bowl frame number 8. Well, I'd like to get back on track.
Well, we said that it's difficult to win 4 in a row, or from one week to the next. And here's Scott in the 8th.
He popped that one. Just didn't pop it in the right place. And a little to the right, left the 1, 2, 4, 10. First time we've seen Scott really sort of fishing around a little bit. He's human after all.
Some of those guys that he beat last week would like to.
I guarantee you Nemo's saying he didn't bowl like that against me. Was it Nemo that he beat? One of the opponents in a real close game?
Ken Palmer and John Schramm.
Nemo 174, 172, I believe.
Right. So Scott picks up 10 there. He's got 99.
That's the part of head-to-head competition, and I'm not sure that the intensity and the competitiveness that comes out of a bowler like Nemo doesn't sort of inspire the other bowler a little bit. You know, you can't change how you are. If you're competitive and intent, that's how you're going to be. But you got Wes, sort of a laid-back guy. When it's his turn,
he's laid back till he throws the ball.
Oh, he's got that pop at the bottom, Mike, that we talk about, and all the good bowlers have it. And he just took advantage of a situation where it could have been disastrous. He left a 5, 6, 10. He could have come out of it with an 8 or 9 frame and went to sleep, right? He slides it over, bang, a strike. So 111 and a 12-pin lead.
I'll show you how well Scott Wolgamuth was bowling on last week's show. His opponents, the three that he beat, averaged 155 as Wes puts a double up on the board.
A quick double. Didn't need any sideboards.
Didn't need any kind of special roll.
No, they were squeezed.
And now Scott will bowl 9th and 10th frames.
I thought Wes was kidding, but he told me, he said, Joe, you know, I really copied your style. And he's doing just what I would have done. You know what I mean?
Whoa. Scott comes back after throwing a bad first ball. Well, I said he copied your style, and
he got better at it.
I was going to say put a little twist to it.
Scott's in big trouble. This must be a strike to even keep him in play. It was close, but no cigar, as they say. If he hits this, throws a strike, be 138, and Wes is 121 plus in the 8th, 131, so any combination of like 5 pins on his first ball and it will be over. So Wes will be going on to bowl.
Chuck Kramer.
Chuck Kramer. We might add to Chuck. Got a 5-game total.
Here's a strike for Scott. So Scott finishes up strong, but he had that stretch of 4 straight frames that he left open, and that, in the long run, just too much to overcome. So here's Wes Hamner.
That's the shot that got him started. Good
Sure
way to
is.
go out, right? The way you came in.
Wait.
He was just telling the chaser that she could go get the pin that he brought back up the lane. He knows he's in the driver's seat, and he's like, get this over with, start the next match.
Well, didn't get it that time, but doesn't really need it at this point. He's won the match. 157. So Wes Hamner, 157, 138 over Scott Wolgamuth, puts a stop to Scott's 3-game run through the up-the-liner competition, and Wes Hamner now will face off against Chuck Kramer when we return on Duckpin Magic. Three bowlers left, 2 of them right here, Wes Hamner and Chuck Kramer, with Doug Shipley waiting in the wings to take on the winner for $5,000 first prize. But first we've got this match. Wes Hamner will bowl first. Chuck Kramer, the higher of the seated bowlers, has forced Wes to do so.
Been a little bit of an oddity, too. I mean, I think this may be the first time
In quite a while that we've had the higher seated bowler decide to send the other bowler first.
I tell you, Wes is always close.
Yeah, he was close to that as well.
Where Chuck steps up here as Wes shoots for number 8 pin for 10, which he hit. Chuck Kramer, 5 games, 872, very close to 175 average, and was 30 pins from Doug Shipley, who shot 905. Chuck with games of 139, 190, 167, 228, and 148.
Chuck Kramer, 29 years old. Just did manage to sneak in through qualifying, though, Joe. He had a 15-14. That's 1,514 pins in 10 games.
Somebody, I can't recall exactly what he did, but somebody said he threw a triple in the 10th frame, I forget, whatever he did in the last frame, and that's what got him in. And so many times when that happens, it's just enough to get a guy going, and you start feeling like it may be your weekend.
Czech's high single is 261.
It's a big game.
High 3-game set of 592, and I think we mentioned earlier his previous Pro Tour win came at the Holiday Lanes in Manchester, Connecticut, in October of 1989. Well, Czech starts out spare and spare first 2 frames.
Spare, spare. Wes Hamner 10 in the first frame. He's 3 pins ahead of last game.
That's one way to look at it. Push through the middle. Wes will try to pick up full 10 here, and he does. Not much you can do with that.
I would say in the head-to-head competition, his coaching psychology would sort of come in a little handy, and the ability to keep himself going. And it's going to hit it.
Yeah,
okay. A little rooting section back there. His wife and 2 little ones behind Chuck Kramer.
Czech's got one, just missed.
And rolling. 3 9s, 38.
Strike. Wes's wife Ann, and got 2 boys, Tracy and Chris.
See buddy Kramer and Jeff Powell sitting there watching, and Chuck just made a mistake. And Wes Hamner loves these type of opportunities. I've watched him time and time again. If I'm not mistaken, we held a Masters one year at Westview, or was it PG, and he finished in the top 3. I don't know if he has it on his accomplishments, but did rather well. I do remember that.
Chuck open in the 3rd, comes back in the 4th, has an opportunity to put a mark up.
One of his 2-4, 4th frame.
Hit that one on the nose. Puts up his 3rd mark of the match. Wes Hamner.
Tough man.
Yeah, he hammered those pins off for a double. Second time in the show that we've seen Wes double. Last time it was in the 8th and 9th frames of the match in which he defeated Scott Wolgamuth earlier today, and now it's against Chuck Kramer. So after having the first 2 frames open, he is struck the next 2, and
Or if the 4 falls, he gets them both. No doubt about that.
gets those 2 to get a little tickle before things settle down.
48 for both bowlers through 3. Chuck Kramer just made the 2-4 on lane 5. Wes Hamner shooting it in frame 5.
Yep. Hold it a little bit. Quickly back with the 3rd ball, and he's on target. As so often you are on that third ball. .77 after 5 for Wes Hamner. And Chuck Kramer steps in now in the 5th frame, working on the spare in the 4th.
Chuck gets a lot of power and drive on the ball for a guy that probably goes, what, 125 pounds, soaking wet. A nice straight long arm swing, and when he comes out of the backswing, he brings it down with no fear.
Totals a 9 for frame number 5, and the score stands 77-73 in favor of Wes Hamner. See how the match has gone about thus far. And
there's a past president to the left with the pink shirt, Johnny Weinkamp, past president of our Duckpin Pro Tour.
Got it. So Chuck Kramer puts up a spare in the 6th frame.
He knew what he did that time. He put it right on the floor. A little early. Shooting the 4-7 for 10 in frame 6. Lead is going to change hands. As Chuck Kramer has his mark in the 6th, 70-83 plus. If Wes hits these two, he'll have 87 and a 4-pin lead. Big frame. He's going open 2 in a row. Last time he went open 2 in a row, he threw a double.
Well, Wes moving into the 7th frame on lane 5, and he's got it. Chuck Kramer steps in now. Chuck has had a pretty good year for himself. Coming into the Masters, he was in 5th place in
there you
money
see
winning.
Situation. Chuck, anything over 4 takes the lead. 2-pin lead. 89-87. Wes Hamner with the strike in frame number 7. Chuck Kramer shooting the 3-4-6-10. Gave it a shot. A wide to the right. 3-4 remaining.
Give it a good try. Finishes up with 98 after 7. So he leads it by 1, but Wes will be counting on a strike. See the scoring, and note that Wes has had only strikes in this game for marks.
And Chuck has had only spares. Shows you how big a strike is, especially when they're back-to-back.
Another spare break opportunity here for Chuck Kramer.
4-7.
On the nose with that one. He's made that a couple of times.
Tell you, if they get a shot at Chuck Kramer's left shoe, he has almost no heel on the outside or no heel. All you see is sole. Now you're looking at the inside of it as we sit here and look across. and the whole heel is there. But when Chuck gets up, if we get a shot of it, the outside edge, it's just completely worn. And except that he's like 125 pounds. There'll be a double.
Oh. Wes Hamner putting a couple of doubles together, third and fourth frame, now here in the seventh and eighth.
Tell you, none of us have had a lot of occasion to see Wes, because like I say, he doesn't make a lot of our tours or even the open tournaments, but when he's there, he rises to the occasion. I've seen him many times put some big numbers on the board.
Well, looking for a triple here. He's got it.
What a weapon. Double, triple.
Put it in overdrive in the seventh, eighth, and ninth frames of the last match, and he's done the same here.
I don't know, with the camera angle, he broke 9 on his spare, got a break shooting the number 10 pin. It's real. There you see the instep of the white shoe, and we can't with our camera angle see the outside of it, but there's no heel, take my word for it, on the other side of that shoe. It's worn completely down, and he's young and he's in pretty good shape. He's lightweight, because it's got to put tremendous pressure on your knee to be sliding. You see how the knee bends? I don't know what he did. It went in the channel and bounced out, but I think he hit his ankle.
Could be, because he was
sort of hobbled back, but I think he hit his ankle.
He's still flexing it a little bit.
Maybe we shouldn't have been watching his shoes. We got him.
I heard you say you got to keep it close to your ankle. Unfortunately,
it's a fine line between close and against it. That hurts.
Oh,
that hurts.
It's like fouling a ball off your foot in baseball.
That thing will puff up that fast. I'm telling you, and it stays that way for a few weeks. They're respotting the number 10 on lane 6. But Chuck's in big trouble. If he strikes out, he can shoot 157, and Wes is just about, he's 137 plus, 147. It's stays behind the line. We're going to have a Wes Hamner, Doug Shipley shootout here for $5,000. There's a couple of the children. The one boy is Buddy Kramer's little boy. The other two boys to the right of the lady are Wes Hamner's children. That little fella right there behind the man with the glasses. I don't see the other one. They don't sit still too long. They go with Dad to a lot of the tournaments, and they're doing a lot of rooting right now. He's giving them a lot to yell about. And as luck has it, Chuck picked that 2-pinner, and Wes will be once again just finishing out.
Well, Chuck Kramer qualified well today, earlier, and was placed as the number 2 seed. Unfortunately, ran to Wes Hamner, who put the marks on the board when he had to.
He was 30-some pins off today's average, and Wes just finishing up. It's a tough frame to bowl. It really is, because you're trying to finish up. He's going to shoot 170, and if he makes this, he'll be in the 180s.
Doug Shipley waiting. He made it.
185 plus this ball, 175 plus this ball, I'm sorry. And that's what he's going to have to shoot if Doug Shipley throws these bowling balls up there and shoots his weekend average.
Well, waiting for Wes Hamner. Final ball. Take 6. Add that in. And it's a 181-136 win for Wes Hamner. So Wes Hamner and Doug Shipley for all of the marbles here at the DPBA Men's Masters. $5,000 at stake. We'll have it for you on Duckpin Magic after this. championship match, Wes Hamner and Doug Shipley. This one's for the DPBA Men's Masters title.
Doug Shipley, I can't give you the 10 games he shot in qualifying. All I can tell you is it averaged almost 171. His 5 games today, 148, 163, 198, 193, and 203, and that's high. I don't care how fast you say it. And that's probably the worst break he's had all weekend.
Actually, I saw that 148 game. He and lost that game in head-to-head against Barry Adolph, but he was trailing badly and then put a couple of strikes together near the end of that to try to climb back in it. So I said, well, geez, he had a good game, a good day yesterday, and today he's not going to have such a good day. And obviously, he got it righted in a hurry.
I'll say it's
Doug's wife, Debbie, on the WNBA tour, has won a Pro Tour title to her credit.
Did real well in the Stros.
And here's Wes Hamner.
Well, when you know someone's bowling as well as Doug Shipley's bowling, you certainly want to get out of the gate.
Well, Doug is the higher seeded of the two bowlers, obviously, being top seeded, and he decided to go first. And now Wes Hamner, after Doug leaves the first frame open, Wes has an opportunity to
Had a ball
put
went
some
back
marks.
down the rack. We got to hold up here a second. We did that for our director. We just got the ball headed in the other direction so he would know what's going on. Get the tape on backwards. We roll in the wrong direction or something.
Wes did a little custodial duties there, and now we're ready to go. Well, if he did have any kind of distraction in terms of going and getting that ball, it didn't show there as he comes up with another strike.
The guys, it's just, I've watched him time after time, and he's very composed, and just inside, I think there's a whole lot of competitiveness in there. And it's like a quiet competitiveness. The opponent don't think it's real quiet, but look out.
Don't see him jumping up and down, stomping his foot, or whooping it up after a strike. But
Not too much. I heard him yell, I think, when he threw that triple. He kind of got a little charge in him. 1, 2, 4. Love to come out of the gate, strike spare.
pick the 1 off to come back at the 2 and the 4. He's got it.
Okay, 28-8.
And here's Doug Shipley again. Let's talk a little bit about Doug's numbers. 237 is his high single, 594 high 3-game set.
Somebody told me he's bowling real well this year in these leagues too.
152 league average.
I guarantee you he hasn't done this twice all weekend. You know, the first ball was a little weak and left an odd shot. Now he's missed a head pin. But I think you sort of tend to set expectations of yourself when you're going as good as he's been going. And sometimes after a high like he's been on, the landing can be hard. Because the big scores come natural. You don't really have to work at it. You get in a groove and you just get locked in, and you really think that you're never going to bowl bad again. When you're going bad, quite often you think you'll never bowl well again, and when you're going real good, as Doug's been going, you think that it's just going to keep going, and as soon as you make a mistake, it's very easy to become an analysis, to analyze yourself, and then you get in trouble. The brain comes back into play.
Well, he's got an opportunity for a spare here.
It's a big shot to get him back on track. He's 10 pins down.
Really needs to hit something that he wants to aim at this point in the match, I think.
He did it.
Did it. Solid, too.
Kind of loosens things up a little bit.
Yeah, and let's face it, Wes has had 2 matches under his belt to sort of get loosened up and get used to the lights, and sort of warmed up, and Doug coming off the side has obviously been sitting a long time waiting for this moment. See the concentration though on Wes Hamner's face.
Pushed it through.
Yep. Difference here is $2,500 between first and second place.
I bowled with Buddy Kramer in the qualifying, and they're good friends. They bowl in the Richmond area together, and I asked Buddy about Wes today, and the fact that, you know, I mentioned he doesn't get to bowl in a lot of events, and that when he shows up, he bowls well. And Buddy's comments were, he said, Wes got a lot of talent. And
well, that 7 gives him a 35 after 3, and tightens up the match just a bit, as Doug Shipley will have 28 plus in the third. And he knew he wasn't too happy with that one when he let it go. Nice shot.
that was a big shot. He was about to have his third open frame in a row. Knowing that he didn't throw the ball real well, he ripped the middle of the frame before, and the second two balls weren't really that well thrown either. So just when you think you got him in a little trouble, he gets himself. You saw him take the deep breath, walk up and make the shot. So
beautiful spare for Wes Hamner. And now here's Doug Shipley. He put his first mark up on the board in the third frame. And I'll go for him.
1 pin lead, Wes Hamner 35, Doug Shipley 34. Wes with a spare in frame 4, Doug shooting for a spare.
One more? No.
Well, I tell you, they're bowling one game for $2,500. Right, it's $250 a frame. And I think that things change under those conditions. I guarantee you neither of these bowlers have, and most Duckpin bowlers have never bowled a game for for $2,500, the difference. And I believe it has a little bit of merit. Of course, the pressure that Masters champion, just the name itself, adds to the event also.
And Doug will try to finish up here with the third ball. .53 after 5, and Wes Hamner will step in, working on the spare in the fourth.
This could be the turning point, Mike, in this match. You have Wes with a 1 pin lead and a count. Doug Shipley open in frame number 5. So Wes has an opportunity to make some things happen here, the 2 frames he's about to bowl. And he gave it away. Got the arm out. Dropped the ball.
Leads it by 3 in the fourth. He will have to throw a third ball here to.
There's a 1 pin lead right now. 5, 6, 10 remaining. 3 pin lead, 56, 53 through 5 frames. It's almost like bowling a 5-frame game for $5,000 to the winner, $2,500 for second place. I'd rather say for second place than for the loser. When you come this far,
yeah.
I don't know that you're really a loser. You just finished second.
And Wes pushes through the middle here.
That's what
match
happens.
is still anybody's
sure is
contest.
The guy that jumps up and goes strike spare or spare strike or double right now is the guy that definitely has the edge. And Wes just let it get away. Doug had 2 open frames, and of course Wes couldn't answer the call, and he left 2 frames open. So now Doug has the same opportunity.
Yep, Doug Shipley will step in. I'm marking this frame and go out in front in the match.
I would say the bowlers are understandably a little slower than normal bowling for this kind of money. The heart's kind of beating. I think I can hear it.
Well, there's a strike. First one for Doug Shipley.
Big ball. That's
Wes Hamner has to be concerned because if Doug gets it rolling.
We have a different way of spelling relief in the Duckpin game, and there it is right there. Takes a little, there you see the big sigh, and it just takes a little off of you when you can throw 1 ball and go back and get another one. You know you have 2 balls to count. He's 1 pin down with a strike. So he's kind of, little old Mo's coming his direction a little bit right now.
So we're on lane 6.
He's well off the back of the approach. If you look, he's got more than half of his right foot hanging over the back of the approach.
He's on 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps in the middle. And you're right back where you come from. No one can make 2 marks in a row and sort of get going. They're not making bad mistakes. They're making little mistakes that are caused by aiming the ball and throwing the ball like you're trying to win. That's exactly what happens.
He picks up 3 more on the count, so he has 71 after 6.
We know one thing for sure.
7-pin lead.
There's going to be a new champion. Neither bowler has a star.
Yep. So he's got an 80 after 7 frames.
Yeah, Wes can do it again, and I still say that the first bowler makes 2 marks. If it happens, yeah, we're into Wes's part of the game, aren't we?
Yeah, previous 2 matches, he came alive in the 7th, 8th, and 9th frames. Let's see what happens here. See the concentration.
That's a case where you'd like to chop 3 out of the middle instead of 2, huh?
Yeah. An extra pin would have played down. Now he's got the 3rd ball to try to pick up 10 pins and stay within 6. Actually, he can pull within 6.
Well, we've done it again, Mike. We've gone through a series of shows, and we have not made it to 200. 199.
We're not going to do it here either.
Well, we're certainly not going to do it here. I think pressure in the championship match sort of assures.
Seen some good bowling, though, in this up-the-ladder competition.
Oh, we've had good scores, no doubt about that. And here you see just a case of the ball where a bowler is not quite as loose as he'd like to be. Nothing you can do about it. You can take as many deep breaths as you want to. When you get to the line, you just squeeze it a little tighter, and it kills the roll a little bit, and what would have been a tight strike becomes 5 out of the middle. It's just as simple as that. I think
Picks up 3 more.
the biggest part of what causes this to happen is just you increase the speed. The adrenaline's flowing, and you're trying to avoid a big mistake, so you throw it hard to compensate for what you might do wrong. And
also, I think just the conservative approach that you're going to take, because you know so much is riding in every pitch, and so in this regard, it's a combination of things that keep the scores down. But this one is still anybody's match, and somebody's got to step forward and take it by the horns and win $5,000.
It's become more of a defensive game. There we have a ball going the wrong way on the rack again. Runner. Doug will get it. It's coming right back to him. Well, we've happened to both of them now.
Fair play now, yeah.
Now, if it turns around, this should be a strike.
Doug got a hand for doing a little maintenance work there.
Well, you know, something like that just
maybe enough to loosen up. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Doug Shipley.
I retrieved that ball without falling on my face. Now, let me go up here and
even
throw
get a little
this.
applause there.
Yep. It's been a very tenseness in the air. It's like we said, it's been a defensive game. He certainly was in the right place to become a strike. It's a big ball. He's going to have a 7-pin lead with 10, so of course it'll be 7+ going into the 9th frame, and an opportunity to make the 2 marks in a row we were talking about.
No, got it. Not by much, but enough to make it count.
Looks like he hit it right on the button on the score sheet, right?
Yeah, there's no indication on the score sheet as to where he hit the pin.
No.
It just goes down as a full-fledged spare in the 8th frame for Doug Shipley.
Here come the balls back up the rack. See if they make it this time. No problem.
Well, he takes advantage as much runway before liftoff as possible. Huh? Well, he picked up another pin on the count.
I was going to say, I think I'd take that one. Took away a spare shot, but it's 1 more pin and it gives him a 15-pin lead, so. I tell you, with the 15-pin lead, if you're thinking clear, I think I'd go for the shot. I really do, because it just would turn everything in your direction. I think it's worth the gamble, and it's not going to hurt you to leave 1 pin.
Let's see what Doug Shipley does here.
We'll never know.
Yeah. Could ask him about
Doug.
it afterwards.
Only Doug knows.
No. 107.
Well,
After 9, and Wes Hamner will step in to bowl 9 and 10.
Mike, we've done it time and time again. If he makes 2 marks, he's going to put Doug Shipley on a mark. We're going to change everything around.
Well, let's see what happens. Wes Hamner in the 9th frame.
And I like this position. Got everything to win, and nothing to lose. Tough shot. That's a little bit of pull in that ball. It went to the side. Had the arm out a little bit. Tough shot, but this can be made in many ways. You get the 5, 9, 10. You can slide the 5 into it. You can almost pick the 5, and the 9 falls into the 10. So you definitely have to hit the number 5 pin.
Let's see what happens. Wes Hamner in the 9th. He's got it. Boy, what a shot that was.
Is the stage set or what?
There's the kids in the background.
Doesn't take a high-scoring game to make this an exciting game. We're down to the fact where they're going to bowl 1 frame for $2,500. $5,000 to the winner, $2,500 to second. 14-pin lead with Wes Hamner bowling frame 10 with a spare in the 9th. Might be the biggest ball of his life. And he's done it again. The middle has really plagued him this game. It hurt both bowlers, really,
yeah.
Mike. Now he's got to make it.
And he had a sort of a breath of fresh air after he made that spare in the 9th, but pushes through the middle, and match comes down to this.
You almost wonder if there's any justice after a guy makes a shot like he just made on the right-hand lane. But we're going to have a winner if Doug Shipley can stay behind the line and get 3 pins, and maybe deservedly so. A guy averages 176 for 15 games, jumps up and bowls 117 game or so, and walks off with the check. So if it's your weekend,
it's your weekend, right?
I guarantee you. I guarantee he stays behind the line. Well, you can laugh now because Doug Shipley has won the Masters and $5,000.
I'll tell you, he didn't take many down that he needed to.
It's sure going to damage his average. But I don't think
he really cares about the average at this
point. It's not going to hurt his win-loss percentage, is it?
No, it's not. He's got 10, and he's got the $5,000. Doug Shipley has defeated Wes Hamner 117-109. Doug Shipley, Masters champion of the DPBA, and $5,000 richer. And we'll be back to talk to the winner coming up right after this on Duckpin Magic. Welcome back to Fair Lanes Middlesex. I'm Mike Seller. With me, of course, Joe Ryanier. To my left, to his left is Wes Hamner, runner-up, $2,500 winner in the Masters. On my right, Kathy Potts, the manager of this facility for Fair Lanes, and on her right is Doug Shipley, the winner. First of all, let's talk very quickly to Wes. Congratulations, Wes. You had to win 2 games to get to the top 3 to win it all, but you gave us a great show. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm just fortunate to be there. I'd like to thank Fair Lanes for a job very well done. Excellent weekend.
Okay, and let's turn to Kathy Potts. She's got a big trophy to hand to Doug Shipley. Congratulations, Doug. $5,000 check as well goes along with that. And Joe Ryanier has that. Congratulations. Doug, congratulations. Great weekend.
Well, thank you. I just like to thank Fair Lanes also. I don't know what to say.
Well, we'll say it for you. Congratulations, and the 1989 Masters champ for the DPBA. And for Kathy and Doug and Joe and Wes, I'm Mike Seller. We'll see you again next week on Duckpin Magic.